All right, we are rocking. Wyatt, we're live.
Yes, sir. Trying to scare me? Because it's working.
We are live right now, and this is super fun. We're broadcasting out to the St. George Chamber of Commerce right now. We're also going to a whole bunch of different social media places. Going to my personal Facebook. We're also going to the Utah South Studios. We're on Twitter. We're on LinkedIn right now, so we're all over the place. And I got to tell you something. This is super exciting, because how long have I known you, Wyatt?
I don't know, 3 years?
It's been a while. It was when we finalized this studio.
Yeah.
You guys came in and started working here. So anyway, so by way of introduction, hello there. I'm Robert John Hadfield, and we're here at Utah South Studios in St. George, Utah, with one of my good friends. This is Wyatt Fenner, and we met, like we were saying, we met a few years ago. You guys were coming in here into the studio and filming, and you guys were doing all kinds of cool stuff. And I was always impressed because you are the real deal as far as being passionate about video production. And I mean that legitimately. Like you love video work.
Yeah.
And I remember when you guys would come in here, what was fun about having you guys come into the studio is that you would try all the stuff, like all the different sets. What if we lit it this way? What if we did this? And it was fun because every time you guys came in here, you would experiment.
Yeah.
So.
Yeah. No, I like to say video too, because like some people will say like, oh, you really love film or like cinema or something. And like, to be honest, like I love the outcome of video in like today's world. Like I used to be like really into like cinema and film. Like when I was in college, I was really interested in it, and we did short films and things, and it was fun. But like now I feel like what really excites me is like, the reason why I was trying all of those different things is to like see what would work better on like what platforms, right? Because like you can light things all purple in the background and all crazy, and it might work a lot better on one platform than another platform. So like I really like video in the aspect of like what can you do to get the most out of the views that you get from your audience.
And it was always fun talking to you because you guys were on what seemed to be on the cutting edge of trying everything in all the different social media platforms. So just really quickly, for people that are watching, who are you and what is it you do?
Yeah, so for the past 4 years, I've been working for a company that sells online education for entrepreneurs, like starting out. It's primarily like education on getting started, like that 0 to 1, which is the hardest thing for entrepreneurs, is getting from 0 to 1. And you talk to people, and it's like, oh, once you get all the systems set up and you get from 0 to 1, it's a lot easier to go from like 1 to 5 and then 5 to 10. So we have, the company that I worked for that entire time had all of these resources like coaching and courses and events, live events. You can look the company up. It's called Entre Institute. And yeah, they have a lot of amazing offerings. But basically what you're talking about, Robert, is like we had a lot of interest in social media, and we had a lot of different people that were consulting us on like best practices. So as far as like the podcast went, we had somebody in the UK that was like always watching podcasts and testing things constantly on their podcast. So like what would drive the most traffic? What type of story post do we need to do to drive the most traffic to the podcast? How do we need to tag people? So we had somebody like that for podcasts. We had somebody like that for YouTube. For a little bit, we had somebody like that for Instagram and TikTok. So really, what you would see whenever we came into the studio was the outcome of those strategy sessions, and like what we were doing in here was like the real implementation of that.
So you guys would make all these plans and come in. Yeah, because I remember you guys would do some things. You were using a teleprompter on some things.
Yeah.
You'd actually written a bunch of scripts.
Yeah.
that you came in with. I actually, now that you mention it, I remember that because you're like, well, we want to just try this and see how this works. And
Yeah.
so,
Yeah. So I've written a lot of like social media scripts, like organic, which is like stuff that you would post on social platforms that you don't put money behind. It's just kind of for building your brand and building an audience and providing value. So I've written a lot of stuff like that for TikTok and Instagram Reels and things. Had a lot of really awesome success on that front. And then usually, I've written a lot of stuff for ads and paid media. The company that I worked for was a relatively large company that had really specialized people writing like YouTube ad scripts and Facebook ad scripts. So with that company, I didn't really get my hands dirty in as far as paid advertisements, but I've done some work with other people in that regard too, just not on as large of a scale as the company that I actually worked for full time does.
it's kind of amazing because you're a really young guy and the amount of stuff that you've been exposed to or done, and pretty successfully too.
Yeah.
I mean, it's pretty neat. Like I said, I remember just visiting with you guys when you'd come in and I'd see all the stuff that you were pulling off, and you guys were nailing it. I mean, it was pretty interesting. And I still see, actually what's interesting is I still see posts coming out from the company that you filmed here. Like apparently
Yeah.
they're pulling clips out of different things that were
Yeah.
done and whatever. So
Yeah,
It's
yeah,
pretty
and it's making that micro content from the stuff that we've shot in here.